The Himalayas are a harsh and unforgiving environment, with high altitudes of 4,000 and 5,000 meters and harsh temperatures. However, also incredibly beautiful and majestic if approached with a good plan. In today's video, you will get to see how a day that started somewhat well can truly go off the rails. Because we will end up having to pass a 5,000 meter pass in the dark. Welcome back to the trip through India, and yesterday after Stefan's tire popped, we are now still pretty close to Leh, trying to find a fix for this. However, it's pretty tough because everything is still closed because of the protests, and for anyone who does work for anyone, there's a fine. So we're still trying to figure something out, and hopefully to then continue our road to Padun. However, the first thing that we really need to get fixed is that tire. The bike is currently standing at a gas station where we left it yesterday for safekeeping until we figure out where to fix the tire. And now we did a few phone calls today already in the morning, and yeah, potentially someone will come here and fix the tire on the homestay ground here, so to avoid the whole protest shutdown situation. Yeah, a bit complicated. Hopefully we can get it fixed quick. With the wheel out, Vickers and the nice man from the tire shop went to put a new hose into the tire. So, Vickers is back with the tire, and this was what was causing the flat tire. Just look at this thing. Wow, that went all the way in the wheel. After cleaning up some of the components, it was time to get air into the tire and put the wheel back in. With now pushing the wheel back in and tightening it down, we managed, with everything being closed, still to get the flat tire fixed and are ready to get back on the road. Now back on the road, I was really happy that everything worked out, because for a second I thought we were genuinely stuck with the flat tire, and now we got to enjoy these Riding through the canyon where yesterday Stefan had the flat tire was just such a good time, because the roads were just so beautiful to ride over. The landscape was just amazing. However, there was a catch around the corner, because as you can see, the road is blocked.
Can't go through?
No, they're not letting.
We have to go back all the way? All the way.
The road that we already rode twice because of the flat tire yesterday was blocked because of blasting, so we had to ride about 26 kilometers back. And we had to find a different road to Padung. But first, let's get some gas.
And if I show up, will you show me around town? If I make you laugh, will you give me some time? 'Cause I know that a girl like you could be falling in love with just about anyone. All I want is just to know you. It's just to hang around, walk on the same ground.
So after now driving a bit around the blocked road, we made our first stop for some food, and I'm actually really curious how it's going to be here. because all the other major food places are still closed, and we're trying one of those really small ones here in a village. And yeah, really curious how that's going to go. I think I will take one of these chocolate bars here. Those were the Indian sweets that were available at the store. The only thing that was a bit concerning to me was that it was the main store in the village that we rode through, and it mostly had sweets. So I hope that there's also other options for the local community. So I'm still chewing a bit of chewing gum, which is really nice, and honestly these little stores are lovely. They're kind of like the Tante Emma Laden we have back in Germany, and it's really cool. It's really nice to just be here a bit in the village, have a cow walking through here. And we now need to continue to Padun, and we're still in the same struggle situation of arriving in the dark today because of the blocked road. But we will now get going again, and yeah. After not having any sweets for 3 weeks, I got another bit of chocolate, and also I just loved the experience of being able to pick the sweets together how I wanted. To the off-road heavy perception that the Himalayas enjoy right now. And we also got to enjoy a bit of that with riding through this river that was flowing through this gate and through really loose sand. With everything going well, there was a bit of a problem on the horizon. We had a over 5,000 meter mountain right in front of us as it was getting dark, and I've never been on a height this extreme. Passing a mountain like that in the dim light, or even to dare it in the dark, is quite dangerous, especially considering that one of us already had height sickness before at 3,000 meters in Leh. With the hotel being right after the high mountain and the way back being very long, I was forced to get over this mountain now. I was not necessarily very happy about it, but let's get it done. I was a bit upset about this because the previous days always ended in the dark, and our filming schedule was incredibly tense, and it literally made the filming behind the scenes quite troublesome, and also it just a strain to get the videos together. And of this having been a topic every day and me having also addressed this issue multiple times, I was not all too happy about it. However, we had a blocked road on the way, and it was my first time here in India. I was the only person on the trip that was doing this trip for the first time. So yeah, and at least I was with experienced people who do trips like this regularly guide tours to the Himalayas. As soon as it was dark, the road disappeared and we had to overcome the 5,000 meter pass completely off-road, which included sometimes riding next to massive drop-offs. I think at this point a little warning to the viewer is definitely necessary. What you see here on screen, definitely do not do this. Avoid situations like this at all cost. If they're harsh nature conditions, definitely avoid them if the visibility is bad or if no one will come by who could potentially help you. Also, if the situation is in a way that a flat tire could send you stuck. Very thin air at high altitude and temperatures around the freezing point can very quickly become a death trap. I didn't manage to keep up with Niels and Stefan because I tried to not lose Vickers, who had a problem with his front ABS on the BMW GS because it was not completely off-switchable. However, deep in the menu, we managed to find a solution for it so that the bike was possible to ride properly. One thing I want to point out here, I ended up in a situation where I had to go along with this due to misorganization and also ignoring of my own prior criticism. And the situation was, this is the first time going over this altitude of over 5,000 meters, and if anything medically goes wrong there with a person like myself who lives close to sea level, it's almost certain death. There is no saving at this altitude whatsoever. Because in case I'm not physically able to hold my weight on a motorcycle anymore, there's no way in getting my body off of this mountain, and no one is going to come by at this time to help. So it was not necessarily the quirky adventurous experience that it maybe seems like it is. You can imagine my mood. After riding for about 2 hours up this mountain, we managed to reach the peak. So we're here on a high altitude pass, over 5,000 meters. This is not a smart idea, I don't know why we're doing this. But the sky is really beautiful. You can see the Milky Way over there. I don't know if you can on the GoPro. I don't know if you can see it on the DJI. But over there is the Great Wagon. And the air up here is really thin. And yeah.
After reaching the high pass, we went down the other side. It was still pretty sketchy and it took us over an hour to get down the mountain again. Back off the mountain, I realized that there wasn't a hotel after the mountain. In fact, there was nothing. It was only assumed that there could be a hotel. The problem is, what we just did, passing a 5,000 meter pass in these conditions, is life-threateningly dangerous. So there was no way back and there was simply nothing in front of us, as in not even a village. We drove another 4 hours through the dark and my camera died. With the original goal of reaching Padung in one day being incredibly unrealistic, we were somewhere in the middle of nowhere and I also had zero clue how to now. I was basically along for the ride. There was not much I could do anymore at this point, no service, just trying to hopefully find shelter. Riding through the dark here, I really missed my girlfriend and also my parents and my friends because I was on the other side of the world trying to pre-film content for the winter season, which was almost impossible with the amount of time pressure to even get the camera up, and am now in this situation which I genuinely was not fond of. Even though I really love motorcycle adventure travel and I love riding and love making these videos, it's also a job at the end of the day, and this is what a really bad day at the office looks like. So now we have it about 1 in the morning and I'm still recording with a little bit of the last energy of my camera. We're driving here in the dark over an absolutely ridiculously dangerous road right next to a river in the dark with overhanging cliffs, not knowing where landslides could be or anything, with bad visibility. Because at the end of it is supposed to be a hotel or a homestay. Please don't ride on a cliffside road like this with very poor visibility at night. We reached a point where the road in front of us was destroyed by a massive landslide and there was just nothing. So we were stuck in between this and a high altitude pass in the middle of nowhere with temperatures dropping.
Was sagst du?
Naja.
Seine Nerven liegen eh schon völlig blank. Guck dir den Vogel an. Was liest man sonst immer in den Medien, ne?
We now had to go back over this really sketchy cliffside road, not knowing where to end up actually. It was not necessarily that I was at the end with my nerves, I was more exercising self-restraint and I was really conscious of the danger I was in at this moment, and my focus really shifted on organizing the situation in a way that I make it back in one piece to Germany, and this is like a trip like this is not worth risking anything like this over. Riding back after some time, we managed to get to a place where there were a few houses. A good place to pull over to figure out how to now make it through the night.
Noch nicht so mega spät, klar es ist 1 gleich, oder vor 1, aber in so Notfällen glaube ich schon, dass Menschen einem helfen,
Deswegen
einen Homestay haben.
We earlier already tried knocking at a few random houses to just find shelter somehow.
Which house?
Where you knocked on the door.
where we knocked at the door, we're in front of that one right now. That's this one.
No, we were at another place where you hit me in my bike and you were knocking on the door.
That one?
Yes.
That's someone's house.
Yeah.
And no one opened.
Okay, but
That's quite far away from here.
it's quite far. Okay. No, I'm just trying to make.
No, I'm gonna try and check here.
Yeah, we're checking something out. We'll be right back.
Because earlier I saw a little hut that was, I think, a cafe or maybe a kiosk, and I had the hopes that the door was open so that we could find some protection from the elements and pay the man who owns the hut a little bit of money the next day.
It has a lock on it. It has a lock on it.
The thing is, even having to consider something like this is really bad because that's not legal. However, the objective was just somehow make it through the night.
This truck bed is empty. If all else fails, we can take the truck bed.
We made one last attempt to knock at a random house to find shelter.
I think Niels and Stefan are still hoping for a hotel or something, but I think that train is long gone.
I think, tell them, this is the good place to be
Okay.
compared to that one. We could be right here on this one, keep our bikes here,
Yeah.
wait till morning and figure out something.
So, wir haben einen Platz, der gut beleuchtet ist und einen leeren LKW neben einem Restaurant, wo wir morgens uns einen Kaffee holen können.
Ja.
Ich glaube, das ist das Beste, was wir um die Uhrzeit jetzt noch kriegen.
Leeren LKW zum Pennen, meinst du?
Ja. Man kann auch an der beleuchteten Fläche übernachten, wenn einem das lieber ist.
Ja. Machen wir.
So. They should be coming.
A little fire was made, which is really nice because my fingers were really cold and it was good to get some warmth into my body before having to figure out a way to sleep here. I was trying a bit to get the dirt off my face from the hours of off-roading in the dark now. I also ended up sleeping under the light. My original plan was to sleep in the truck bed to be protected from wild animals, but I think focusing on potential first aid in case of hypothermia, with temperatures being between 0 and 7 degrees in this region at night during that time of year, was more important. So I was really about to find out what the motorcycle gear from Mudeka that we had can do, because it did a good job on the road, and here this task was far beyond what motorcycle gear is supposed to be doing, sleeping outside and keeping body temperature. So let's see how this will go.
So, and now I've prepared here my bed. We stood a bit at the fire, and yeah, the road was pretty adventurous and dangerous, and yeah, let's hope that the next day is better. And yeah, we have still 6 days on the trip, and I'm seeing, as I'm recording this, an enormous spider on the wall above me.
Seeing the enormous spider above me was actually not a negative experience. It was really positive seeing a little animal, and that was really nice before going to sleep. And definitely check out the next episode to see if I made it through this one and also how to get out of this the next day.